What is up, Quantum Club? Give me hashtag live, hashtag replay. I am so excited and honored to truly shift your paradigm around staying in your comfort zone and why it's actually even better. And also, it's going to feel so good. And it's the missing piece that not enough people are talking about. So, a couple months ago, not even a couple months ago, like a month ago, I was invited to this fun shopping event with one of my dear friends and clients. And she gave everyone spending money, and you had to buy like certain things on a list. It was like a super fun scavenger hunt. And I went into the bookstore, and out of all of the books, there are no accidents, you guys. There's no accidents. This book, The Comfort Zone by Kristen Butler, just pulled me in. Maybe it was the gold on the cover. I just was so drawn to it. And then when I saw the tagline, create a life you really love with less stress and more flow, it just felt so perfect as Quantum Club was evolving and emerging. I was just, it was a no-brainer to buy that in the scavenger hunt. And then I started reading it as we were going to Disney World with our mastermind. And within like the first few pages, I was like, this book is going to change my life. It's going to change my clients' lives. It's going to change your life if you let it. And the most beautiful part about all of this is I actually thought it meant why staying in your comfort zone is bad. Like, I truly thought, oh, the comfort zone. They're going to talk about how you're supposed to get uncomfortable. You're supposed to, leap and the net will appear type of thing. And it's just so interesting as you are on a personal growth journey, how when you learn new information, you start to try things on, and therefore you create a new way of being, and you just unlock this portal of possibilities that I think is just so insanely magical, that is life changing, like truly life changing when we allow it to be life changing. I'll never forget when I was opened up to this world of personal development. Oh my gosh, probably like 8 years ago now. Like, I had never really read or listened to like a personal growth book before then. I never went to a conference. I never bought a course or like had a coach before about 8 years ago, as I'm recording this training. And I didn't even know this world existed. Right. And so it's just so interesting to go from that to like all the way to here, and everything that has evolved because of unlocking a new portal of possibilities, right? And that's what this journey is all about, is continuing to unlock a new portal of possibilities. We can only go as far as our mind will let us go. And subconsciously, our subconscious mind is the most powerful part of our body and our brain. It literally controls about 95% of your actions, your thoughts, your beliefs, and it never stops. It's go, 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 go. And so this is why, like, really taking time to work on these type of things of belief building and energy work and everything in between is just so powerful, because it's really, like, we've talked about it before in here, but it's everything underneath the surface. It's that iceberg that, like, so much of it you can't see. Above is the strategy, the marketing, the offers. Like, this is what we put so much of our time and energy into. And a lot of times we forget there's just so much other things. And so this is why I think it's the missing piece for so many women, because you got the offers. You've got some marketing going on. You've got some strategy, right? And you still feel stuck. You feel blah. You feel what is out of place. What, maybe I'm not supposed to be an entrepreneur. Maybe I'm not supposed to be wealthy, right? And then again, subconsciously, we start to create these beliefs, these narratives that maybe it's just not in the cards for me. And I do believe in my heart of hearts, it is your God-given right to be as wealthy as you want to be, as happy as you want to be. And we've only got one life to do it. And truly, it is an inside job. It is personal responsibility. I never, ever, 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 ever want you to be codependent on a coach. Coaches and mentors are fantastic to really help you, but they are, oops, hold on. My phone was ringing. They are not the end all be all. Okay. Like it really gets to come from within. So that way we can really, really support you and move forward. Okay. So if you haven't grabbed this yet, The Comfort Zone, read it or listen to it at your leisure. It's so interesting to me because I started, like I said, I started listening to it or reading it on the plane. I normally listen to books, and I like was writing in it and doodling in it, and like all of these downloads were happening. Again, like I just knew within the first few pages it was going to change my life. And so I'm quite literally going to make it a very highly suggested book for clients that are working with me closely, because there's just a different dialogue when we can both be on the same page and both be speaking the same language. So if you're working with me privately, I'm not going to force you, because that goes against everything in this book, but I'm going to highly, 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 highly recommend that you listen to it. And even if we're not working with each other privately, still grab this book, listen to it, read it, scribble all over it. If you're more of a listener, I would still grab the book for just like a symbol of like growth, transformation, expansion, change. I think it could be really, really powerful. There's a few books that even if I've listened to them, if they really made a big difference in my life, I go ahead and buy it. It's almost like kind of like a trophy. And just like energetically, I can just like be with it. So I really want to talk about this and really go deep today. Obviously, in all of the encouragement videos, I'm going and talking about it. And so that will help reinforce this training, but let's go deep. And obviously we've got a Q&A. So if you've got questions around this and how it applies to you and where you're feeling stuck, typically when you feel stuck, it's because something is out of alignment. Think about it this way. When you are excited to do something, like I even think about my 5-year-old, going to Elsa on Saturday was the easiest thing ever because she wanted to do it. She was excited to go. There was no fighting or screaming or, arguing with me, right? Now having her go to the bathroom, take a bath, brush her teeth, go to school, some things that like obviously like we get to do but aren't as exciting and fun are a little bit more of a fight, right? So this is truly like a beautiful example of your comfort zone versus everything outside of your comfort zone. And for so long we've been programmed and conditioned, and I've even said it myself, get uncomfortable, right? Do things scared. And again, this is why I love Quantum Club, because this is a growing, breathing expansion of a container that as we all evolve, I can give you more deeper understanding of like, okay, like here's a new portal of possibility. Try this on, see how this feels, right? So imagine if you could stay in your comfort zone 24/7 and still get to all of your goals, dreams, and desires. Would that feel better than constantly forcing, constantly feeling anxious, constantly feeling like, okay, I've got to like talk myself into this. I've got to give myself a pep talk. I've got to like deep breathe a few times and like run away because I just did something like really, really scary. And it was overwhelmingly scary. And now my whole nervous system is like feeling achy and icky and blah, right? If you could still get to the same destination, which vibe are you going to pick? The peaceful, energetic, calm, confident, slow and steady wins the race type of vibe, kind of like how I like to describe this is like you're on the beach, right? You don't really have a care in the world. Maybe somebody brings you some fresh fruit and like a cocktail of your choice, right? You're reading your favorite book, you're with your favorite person, right? You don't have a care in the world, right? Actually, when I meditate, one of my happy places is Hawaii when we went there for our honeymoon, and I can literally like visualize it, and like that whole feeling comes over my body. It feels so different than anxiousness, overwhelm, stuck, frustration, and blah, right? Forcing things to happen. I have had a successful business and even a nonprofit operating in both of these different types of energy. Maybe you can relate. All day, every day, I'm going to pick the beach. It is so much easier for me to pick it now because I've felt what it feels like on the other side of ick and burnout and blah and anxiousness and overwhelm and exhaustion. I have felt that so many times. I've repeated that pattern so many times, more than I would actually like to admit out loud, right? Because for so long, I'm going to get emotional. For so long, it has been so hard for my brain to understand it can actually get better and easier and more enjoyable. You don't have to work your ass off 24/7. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. Make the choices that feel good to you. Go at the speed that you desire, that aligns with your life, aligns with your schedule, aligns with your energy, your whole way of being, right? Some people are not meant to work 8 hours a week or 8 hours a day, right? Some people do not have that much energy, whether they have a chronic illness or a learning disability. They can't be their best if they stuff their schedule, right? I used to literally have days where I was scarfing down food between coaching calls, running to the bathroom, literally in the clothes from yesterday, not having makeup on. That is not an example, right? Like I think of like coaches that I admire, like that's not an example, right? Like it's not an example that I want to embody, right? But yeah, my way of being and my operating system was, oh no, like if you want the dream, if you want the wealthy life, girl, like you've got to work your ass off. You've got to hustle and grind, and you'll sleep when you're dead. I can't tell you how many times I said that, right? Like again, new way of being means a new portal of possibility. So maybe you are in the energy of old Nellie, as I like to call her, and you're ready to hop into ease, flow, and fun you, right? And fully embrace it. And like, I love this work so much because if I can save somebody some years of their life, if I can save them some, some time, if I can save you and make you more money quicker, more aligned with you, I'm so willing to do it because I think we all sometimes need that outside belief before we fully believe it ourselves. And so I love sharing and keeping things real on social media and taking you on this journey with me in real time and being super honest, super vulnerable, super open, and like admit when I'm like, yeah, that's actually not the way of being that I want for myself or I want for you, right? And so again, there are no freaking accidents that this book was what drew me in, and like so cute that like the old me was like, oh, it's because she's going to talk about how you shouldn't stay in your comfort zone, right? Like that belief system is so deep in all of us. So much of social media and so much of the world tells us to hustle and grind. And so if you're finding resistance around this topic this month, it is normal. Allow it to be there. And also just say, what if, right? What if I truly could have everything I desire and do it in a way that 100% feels so fucking good to me all the damn time? Because the offers that have truly taken off in my business and made a lot of money, I was not worried about who was going to buy. I was not worried about who was judging me. I was literally creating it in real time. I was having so much fucking fun. I was detached from the outcome. I didn't even know where I was from a number standpoint. I was just being. I was being proof that this stuff works, right? I was operating in that ease, flow, and fun Nellie. And so for so long, both sides of me have played tug of war. Like, oh, you're having fun over here and it's easy. Okay. Hard Nelly is going to pull you back over and we're going to go ahead and run the show again. And we're going to go ahead and like fall back into old patterns. This shows up, you guys, so much in our money, so much in our schedule, so much in our belief system. And so I just want this to be like the most beautiful wake up call. Because if you're like, holy shit balls, this is me right now. Like I have this tug of war. Like you've gotten a taste of what it's like to feel easy, feel fun. You enjoy what you're doing. And then boom, you pull yourself back into a hard way of being, a hustle and grind. It doesn't feel great. Like I've even caught myself recently. Like I just like, this is more of a woo call. Like I don't have PowerPoints. I have some things I want to like doodle with you, but I wanted this to be like a really woo type of call because I want that to be more and more in Quantum Club. So I just love to like riff and talk to you. But it's so interesting to me because I see so much and I'm so excited and I'm allowing things to be easy. Again, it is like, it's so important to have very huge awareness of that tug of war because I can see it so clearly in my money. I can see it so clearly in my schedule and my way of being. Like those are the three categories I really want you to look at. So I'm going to go ahead and write those down. So we're looking for that tug of war between easy and hard. Okay. And we can define what that means because I think that can also be confusing, but easy doesn't mean that you're not doing anything. Okay. Like last night, for example, well, yesterday in general, both kids were sick. Emma like was crying so deeply that her ear hurt. So I took her to the pediatrician, got her medicine because she in fact had an ear infection. So like my day was pretty shot. And so it felt good to me after like I got Boone to bed, Emma in bed, that I just like sat on the couch and I just like did something that felt good to me. So I was like looking at things on Pinterest, which is kind of like my fun creative escape because it's not, what I love about Pinterest is it really is like social media, but no one needs anything for me. Like if you haven't tried it, it's so fun and so creative, especially if you love like clothes or like there's so many good meals on there and just it's a fun little escape. And still like feels like a good vibe, not like a blah vibe. Anyways, so I was on there and then I moved to our bedroom and my husband already fell asleep and I just was so overstimulated. I just needed a minute to be. And I think my husband picked up on that because when you're with two sick kids all day, it can be a lot. And it was like rainy yesterday. It was just like, you had to like really work a little bit harder on like your emotional regulation. Anyways, I say all of this because I have a client that I'm working with really closely and I'm doing work for them. And I was just feeling really creative. And so I'm like rehauling their systems and their branding and their marketing. Like it's super high ticket and super high touch. And I like did their whole website last night. Like I can't even wait to show them. I was like in the zone, just like so creative. And here's what I told myself. Okay. I told myself I would really like to like make progress on this project because I've made a promise, right? And I want to be my word and I want to move the project forward. And I was wanting to do it on the weekend, but with Frozen and our air conditioner went out. I'm like kind of going in a circle here, but I love to storytell when I teach. And so it just didn't feel good to do it on the weekend. So I didn't force it. And I had to really sit with that. And so like, this is the most powerful part about this work is that it's not going to just naturally come easy. Like I'm doing this in real time with you. Like think about brushing your teeth. Like anything that is new to us is going to take a little bit of effort. And so like, I say all of this because easy can sometimes be portrayed as like you don't have to put effort in. It is aligned effort. It's effort that feels good. So when I was like creating for my client last night at midnight, I could have easily told myself, what are you doing? Like working at midnight? Like you shouldn't be doing that. Are you hustling and grinding? No, it was a choice. It felt good. And what I told myself when I started was, let's just at least do like 10 minutes, right? Like that would feel good to do it for 10 minutes. I do this for working out all the time because sometimes it's like hard to get your brain on board to like work out, right? It's not something that comes easy to most of us, right? And so that has been a huge practical hack for me of like, I'm just going to do 10 minutes and I'm not going to stress about what I can do in those 10 minutes. I'm just going to see what I can do. And I'm pretty sure I did 90 minutes. Like it was so much fun. No one needed me in my house. It was peaceful. It was quiet. I'm so excited to show them my progress, see what they think, what tweaks they want to make. And then I'll probably do a similar session when it feels good. Okay. So we're wanting to start to look for patterns. Okay. Patterns of what's showing up for you in your time. Okay. Way of being. Okay. Way of being. I'm going to show you this here in a second. Way of being. If I can spell being. Okay. And money. Time will be a little bit of an easy start for you because it's not as emotional. Way of being is going to be a little bit more emotional, and money is going to be a little bit more emotional. So we're going to like intuitively, I didn't even like put it in this order for that reason, but like I agree with intuitively, we're going to start with time. Okay. We're looking for patterns. Okay. And you can even like make this diagram of easy and hard. So think of easy of it feels good. Okay. Because when things feel good, it feels easy. Right. And when things feel hard, it feels, let's just say yucky. Okay. Yucky is kind of like a fun, playful, easy. See how I'm like already like trying to like put easy into hard. So it feels yucky, right? It feels blah. It feels frustrating. It feels like maybe you can't even like you can't even pinpoint it. Okay. So easy feels good, smiley face. Okay. And hard feels yucky, blah, stuck, can't put your finger on it type of thing. So we want to think of time first. An easy way, I hope you guys can hear me okay. An easy way, see what I'm doing here? An easy way to start thinking about this is look at your planner, look at your calendar, okay? And you could even start to color code like happy, yellow, and maybe hard, yucky with like black or gray. And just start to look at your calendar, right? And maybe for you, you're in the way of being that I was a few years ago, where you're just like back to back to back to back. It's so hard, especially if you have a learning disability. You have a lot of time blindness. And so when we have time blindness, we're like, oh yeah, I can have 20 meetings in one day and I can get 50 billion tasks done. And so I don't say that to make fun of you. It is a real thing. Like truly, it is a real thing. I'm getting certified as an ADHD coach, and it is one of the biggest challenges. Most entrepreneurs do have ADHD. So if you want to chat more, let me know. Maybe one of our monthly focuses will be around learning disabilities, because most women and most entrepreneurs do have ADHD and they just don't know it. And like I could go on a whole tangent about that, because when you don't know it, you can your whole day, I'm going to get emotional again. You're getting like emotional Nellie today. She's just, her heart is cracked wide open. When you don't know that you have ADHD or another form of learning disability, I'm pretty sure I have dyslexia. I can't even say it, which is ironic. Dyslexia. I'm pretty sure I have that learning disability as well. The signs are there. I'm not officially diagnosed, but I remember when I woke up one day feeling so much fucking shame for not getting tasks done the day before. Like my whole body, again, My whole body felt frozen. It felt stiff. I was so, it was a dark moment for me. And I woke up that morning. I can literally vividly remember this day. And I said, something's wrong with me. Like, this cannot be how everyone else feels. Like, something is wrong with me. And that's, a beautiful way to say it in such a I want to hug her, because she was operating in a neurotypical way that just wasn't serving her. And so when you don't know that you have a learning disability, it can feel so isolating. It can feel so frustrating that you feel like this 24/7. And so just getting a diagnosis, I got diagnosed it was in the pandemic. I want to say 2021. Yes. Because I got diagnosed and then broke my tailbone. They're not related, but I like life events. So I got diagnosed and I just sat with the diagnosis. It felt actually peaceful to know that something actually isn't wrong with me. I'm just different. And so I've been on this quest to really be different on purpose and work with myself and my brain. And so it's just been a beautiful journey since then, because I've really been on this journey, this tug of war for the last couple of years. I got pregnant last year. I've been wanting to get on medication. And so obviously I waited until after I was delivered and stopped breastfeeding and all of those things. And like that, along with like getting certified, has been truly life-changing, because not only am I understanding myself more, but my whole family is certain forms of neurodivergent. And now women are coming to me. And again, there just aren't any accidents. And so for so long, like literally 31 years, this is how I operated. Tug of war, tug of war. I got a taste of what it would feel like to feel good, and then pulled back over again with my time, my way of being, and my money. Obviously, there's other layers to that, relationships, all of these things. And I'm like creating this training in real time. Like, this is my intuition running the show. You're getting like a really different side of me today, and I hope you're really enjoying it, because I just trust that this is what is meant for you to come up. So we'll see where this goes together. Like, I had none of this planned. So this is supposed to come through. And I do believe if you're watching this training, you knew you needed this. And I love that. And I trust that. And it's just a beautiful thing to be in with you. So this tug of war was happening so fucking much. It was exhausting. And I really do believe that's why that one day I woke up, because you get to a point where you can't fucking tolerate whatever it is anymore. You're just so exhausted. You feel so yucky, to the point where it's almost like when you have like a sore muscle and you're like, especially in your neck, isn't that the worst when like every time you turn to like when you're driving or you're like cooking dinner, it keeps hurting, and like you start to complain about it, right? You start to get frustrated about it. And it sometimes it gets so frustrating that you can't tolerate it anymore. And I do believe that this is a form of self-harm, because we don't want to get to that point, right? And so again, I hope that this is like a loving wake-up call for you, a loving interruption for you of like, do we have to get to that point where it's so painful physically, mentally, emotionally, financially? Okay, I'm talking to people that have debt. Are we going to get to the point where it's so painful that we can't tolerate it? Because I have seen that pattern with myself for 31 years, right? And other women. And if we don't change the pattern, it's never going to fully change. We may get that tug of war where we're like, oh, we got a taste of it. This feels great. But then it pulls you back, right? And so this training, I hope, just helps you visually see like, holy shit, like this is exactly what's happening. And so we're going to start to build the evidence so we can start to course correct. Okay. So again, we're going to look at your time first because it's a little less emotional. Pull your calendar open, pull your planner, pull your to-do list. Okay. So this is calendar and to-do list. Okay. There's not just one form of debt, y'all. Okay. There is so many forms of debt. There is sleep debt. Okay. There is to-do list debt. There is email list debt. There is debt around your house, right? The clutter, the digital clutter, right? Maybe you have debt because you literally are not taking care of you physically, right? Like your health, that is debt, right? If you have excess weight or you don't love how you feel, that is a form of debt, right? And you are choosing to tolerate it. And I mean this in the most fucking loving way possible. But when are you going to stop choosing to tolerate it, right? Are you wanting to let it keep going, keep running the show? Okay. This is where it can start to change for you. Just you being on this training can start to rewrite the future. I love the quote. What is it? Oh, it's gonna like drive me crazy now. It's right on the tip of my tongue. I love the quote. I trust the future because I know the author. It's something like that. And I don't know who said it. I'm so sorry, but whoever said that, I quote you. But I love that saying because you are the author, which means it's not over yet for you. I don't care how old you are or how young you are. We can live a beautiful, beautiful life, a beautiful, wealthy, happy, peaceful life. And it doesn't matter if you're older or younger or somewhere in between, you choosing it now will create generational wealth, not just financially. You choosing this now will create generational wealth. It is not over unless you say it's over. And I love Tony Robbins when he says, if you want to change your life, look at the patterns. Look at the patterns because they are running the show. Okay. Marketing is fantastic. Strategy is fantastic. Offers is great. Content. Oh, I could talk about all those things all day long. None of them matter if we don't go to the root. Okay. Because guess what? When you go to the root, the offers will take care of itself. You'll start to get on Facebook Live and you're like, who the fuck am I? Like, I am getting on Facebook Live. I'm making offers. I'm pitching myself for big speaking opportunities. I just raised my prices because you worked on the patterns, right? Not even just worked on them. You worked through them. You rewrote them. This is where the magic is. This is the transformation. And so much people are skipping over it. And I'm so over it. Like people are skipping over it and I'm over it. I'm over people skipping over it because this is the magic. This is where life changes. This is where life begins. True life, right? Like true, deep, loving, beautiful life. Because when you are so much aware of all of your patterns, time, way of being, and money, obviously there's so many more, but we're going to focus on those 3 today. Once you start to see yourself pull over here and you're so fucking aware and you've already rewrote the patterns, you're like, not today, Satan, not today, right? And so quickly you can pull yourself back, okay? So this isn't you living in la la land. This isn't everything is sunshine, rainbows, and butterflies, right? Like I had a shitty morning this morning. I'm not going to lie. I was at a rage 10 emotional, which it takes a lot for me. Like I'm wearing a unicorn love shirt, right? It takes a lot for me, but Emma has an ear infection. She didn't want to take her medicine. We fought for an hour. She has special needs. And so things are harder for her to understand. And it got to a point where like, I know as her mom, she has to take this medicine. Like even the pediatrician was like, the ear infection is so bad because she just had one about like a month and a half ago. If we don't take this medicine, she's going to have to get tubes in her ear. Right. And so like, I know as her mom, it sucks, right? It doesn't feel good, right? To force your child to take medicine. And we fought for an hour and I cried, she cried. it was, and like Boone's just like looking at us in his car seat. And so we didn't talk on the way there. Like I gave her a hug, I kissed her goodbye, but it felt awful, right? It did not feel good. And so I could have chosen to keep going into this energy, this state of mind, this pattern, right? Like punish myself, feel frustrated, but I vented to my husband. I got myself a cup of coffee. I sat in my car. I Voxered my coach. I did some online shopping without like paying. Do you guys ever do that where you just like add things to your cart? So I added a few things to my cart. I did some content planning. I'm planning to go for a run later today. This is the power of staying and choosing to be in an ease, flow, fun state, aka your comfort zone. And anytime you find yourself getting out of it, right? Because life is going to happen. It's not going to not happen, right? Life is going to be life. And humans are going to be humans, including you, right? We're supposed to feel emotions. The goal here is that we don't go over here and stay here, right? As we start to see this happen, we say, not today, Satan, or whatever you want to say. And we have tools and resources and support to shift us back. I was going to say pull us back, but it's a choice. So we're choosing to shift back because it was a very, very challenging choice this morning. And again, I don't think there are any accidents that this happened this morning. I was supposed to have a client call this morning and there was a schedule mix up. And again, I don't think that it was an accident. I had a little extra time. I am more than happy to be like, oh yeah, there was no biggie. We'll shift you. Totally okay. I had a little extra time to be with myself, right? I have full belief that I would have been able to crush the coaching call and support her because I was doing things before that call. Like I even was on the phone with my husband. I was like, all right, I've got like 30 minutes to like get in the zone so I can go change lives. Like that's exactly what I said. And so like I take this work so seriously. And so it's just a beautiful thing that I was given the gift of time and I got to like have a little bit of extra of it and I wasn't expecting it, right? Again, no accidents. So with all of that being said, we want to look at your calendar. Okay, and we want to look at your to-do list. I can't tell you, y'all, I have had so many years, like probably over 17 years of constantly feeling like I'm playing catch up with my email, with my to-do list. And again, am I willing to tolerate it? Like this was a question I asked myself about a month ago. Am I willing to tolerate this? I'm choosing to say yes to things. I am choosing my schedule. I am choosing what is on my to-do list, right? And so I have literally the smallest fucking to-do list. Like it's over on my couch right now. It is a little tiny post-it note and it feels so fucking good. And it's like the easiest tasks on there. Again, it was a choice, right? I had to shift things. I had to rework things. Things had to take time to rearrange and catch up with me, right? But I'm not saying yes to more things. Again, excuse me, this is like the part of debt, right? There's not just money debt. There is time debt. We are so quick to fill our schedule and fill our schedule and fill our schedule. I noticed myself again, like the tug of war. Right before we left for Disney for the mastermind, I chose, right? This is personal responsibility. I chose to have a meeting the day before I left for Disney. And I was driving to drop off the kids. And it was that full body yuck. It had nothing to do with the person. I'm actually genuinely like super excited to spend time with this person. But I normally don't schedule on the day that I chose and said yes to schedule. And here's the most beautiful part. You don't have to force it. So often we're like, we must be our word. We must like follow through. You also get to speak up for yourself. You're human. Sometimes we say yes to things that we didn't mean to say yes to, right? And I still do believe that you can be in integrity, right? And be open and honest with somebody and choose you. Choose you, right? And so after I dropped the kids off, I was like, yeah, this is a full body yuck. like with a Y, a full body yuck. And it most likely is because I leave for Disney tomorrow. I want to go get a spray tan. I like didn't have like myself put together. Like I just threw on a ball cap, which obviously like I'm okay with. Like I love being me no matter what that looks like every single day. But I have a very one track mind. I was so focused on like delivering an amazing experience for my clients in Disney, getting my head in the game, right? Like making sure my family felt prepared for me leaving. I didn't want to wait till the last minute to pack because that used to be an old pattern of mine. And so I just sent her a quick text and said, "Hey, I am so excited to meet with you. I should have not said yes to today. Like I would like to shift." It wasn't even a can we shift. Again, our words are so powerful. And so I said, I get to shift. I have ADHD and all I can think about is all the things I get to do before I leave. And she was so understanding. So understanding. And I was like, I want to be fully present when we meet because I'm genuinely so excited to connect. And so she was one, understanding. I was still in integrity. I was actually probably more in integrity if you want to like really think about it, because I want to be present with her, right? And so I could have forced myself to stay in the full body yuck, do the meeting, which probably still would have felt good, right? Because I do genuinely love to connect with people, but a part of my brain would be in the waiting room of like, you have so many things you need to do, so many things you want to do. Like you're not choosing you, you're not choosing your family, like you're putting everyone else before yourself, right? And so it would have not been the level of an experience that I truly want to provide and be able to like humanly connect with somebody. And so we're just going to meet. She's on maternity leave now. And I told her, I was like, I'm not going anywhere. You have my number. Like I have a reminder to check in with you, like post maternity leave, and it's going to be okay. Right. So that's an example. I have a collaboration with somebody that I like love, and we're going to make a ton of money from this collaboration, but it was feeling rushed. And so again, it was kind of starting to feel, it was like kind of like you're filling up your glass and it's not all the way full, right? It was starting, my body was starting to feel the yuck, right? The uneasiness, right? Yuck will be different flavors, right? Yuck sometimes isn't going to be like yuck. But it was starting to feel uneasy. That's probably a better term for this situation. And these are like real life examples of like the past few weeks that I'm sharing with you. Like this is the power of this work. And so it was starting to feel uneasy. So I sent her a text and I said, "Hey, like, how are you feeling? I know that this is next month. Obviously, we haven't had a ton of time to like plan, prepare. I'm in a season right now, which I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I don't want it to go anywhere. But I told her, I was like, I'm in a season right now where I'm not forcing things. I'm letting them be easy. And even just saying that, you guys, is so powerful. Like, please take that and put that in your toolbox, because that's actually going to inspire the next woman. And it kind of just makes you feel a little bit, it makes you feel easier when you're just like saying it, because I don't want her to think that I don't want to do this collaboration. I genuinely want to do this collaboration. Again, when we're just so open and transparent with people, we can connect on such a deeper level. And like vague communication gets vague results, just like vague goals get vague results, right? And so I just opened up with her and I asked her opinion, right? Because it is a collaboration. We are partners. And I said, you know, would this feel better to you? Would this feel better to you? And she, like, I fucking love her. And she's like on my level, because she was like, let me sit with this for a little bit. And so I gave her space, right? And within a few days, she was like, I went ahead and contacted the place. We're going to go ahead and shift it to the spring. That feels really good. And now we have this beautiful runway of time to plan, to prepare, to make it even more amazing. And is it a little bit more delayed? Yeah, but is that okay? Yes, right? We get so wrapped up in our head that things have to be a certain way that then we start to force things. And it's kind of like when you have a pair of jeans. You have a pair of jeans that don't fit you and you like keep jumping into them, or like you're on your bed and you're trying to button them and then you finally get them buttoned. Don't you feel awful all day? Like to the point where you probably like, you know, you've done this or you probably at least thought of it, where like once you get to your car, you unbutton them, or at least you've thought about it, or you can't wait to take those fucking jeans off when you get home because they feel so uncomfortable, right? That's what this is living in. Over here, it's having a pair of jeans that don't fucking fit you, that you're trying to squeeze in, and all day it's all you can think about. You feel yucky, you feel awful, you have all this like negative dialogue going on in your head, rather than just like picking the Lululemon comfy leggings that like you can still dress up and like look super cute, right? Like that's the ease, flow, and fun side on the most like basic level, is choosing comfortable clothes. So I kind of digressed, but I really do think it's like a basic thing. Like, wear clothes that fit you, wear clothes that feel good. Like, I'm a different size right now because I'm 8 months postpartum and I'm okay with it. Like, I just ordered a pair of, oh my gosh, it's a really nice pair of jeans. What is it called? It's with the Kardashian. Is it American Apparel? This is going to drive me crazy. American jeans. They just called, oh, Good American. See, that was going to drive me crazy. Good American. I had a gift card. Talk about money. Woo woo. I had a gift card that was unspent. And so even last night, as I was doing like website design, I was like, ooh, I'm going to go ahead and spend this because I want a pair of jeans that really fit me well and are like a really quality based pair of jeans. And so I bought a size that fucking fits me, right? I have taken clothes out of my closet that don't fit me right now. I don't want to look at them, right? It's a vibe, right? And it's not a vibe that I'm here for. I'm not available for, right? You get to decide what you're willing to tolerate, what you're available for, what you're not available for, right? Every day we are making so many choices that truly do create this domino effect. You can call it the butterfly effect. If you know anything about the butterfly effect, it goes beautifully with like quantum leaping. Every choice has a cause and effect, even down to the smallest thing of what jeans you're going to wear, right? Yesterday, it's like wild. I don't get out much. I feel like I'm like having girl talk with you right now. Yesterday, when we were going to the pediatrician, we were going a little bit later than when I would have dropped the kids off at daycare, and we passed the exit to daycare, and there was an ambulance and a fire truck and a really bad accident, right? And anytime I see that, whether I was going that way or not, I always do like the sign of the cross. It's just something that I've always done. And to me, that means like, I hope everyone's okay. I like send good energy. It's just something that I've always done, like as a kid. I don't know where it came from. I don't know why I do it. I just do it. I've always done it. But I say that because as we were driving by, again, the butterfly effect, I'm like, not that I want my kiddo to have an ear infection, but like that could have been me and my kids, right? Like, so when you're late or things change or rearrange, like let it be, right? Like everything, even when we can't understand it, is happening for us in some way, shape, or form. There is meaning in everything. And I know that can be hard to understand when there's like big life events like cancer or an unexpected death in the family or a car accident or an illness of any sort. And so I don't say that to be like insensitive to those things, but there's meaning in everything, right? And there's a cause and effect, even if we don't agree with it, in everything, and a cause and effect when we control things and when we can't control things, right? And so the goal of this training is to really focus on the things we can control, right? The circle of control is what it's called. Just like the comfort zone is a circle, right? The circle of control is your comfort zone, right? And so we're looking for the patterns in your calendar and in your to-do list. What are you available for? What are you not available for? What are you tolerating that you're actually like not okay with, right? That is a whole vibe, and you get to choose your vibe. You get to choose what you want to create. And again, I don't think there is anything that can't be renegotiated, can't be restructured, can't be shifted. I've done it so many times. I've given you a few examples today. We can do it in real time. You don't have to suck it up, buttercup, and put your head down. Again, that is choosing to stay over here. rather than speaking up for your needs and being your best advocate, right? If it's to be, it's up to me is one of my favorite sayings. Say it with me. If it's to be, it's up to me. If it's to be, it's up to me. If you don't love your schedule, let's change it. If you don't love your to-do list, let's change it, right? If you don't love your way of being, let's change it. If you don't love your finances, let's change it. There is such a big circle of control that we truly forget about. And then we give all of our time or a lot of our time to things that we can't control, like other people's opinion. No matter what you do, we cannot control other people's opinion. And my theory is let's give them something good to talk about. I've been cleaning up Facebook groups and my friends list. And it's interesting because Facebook groups won't remove people that are not friends with you anymore. And so people that I've been connected with are in some of my Facebook groups, but they're not friends with me anymore, which means they have unfriended me. And it's so interesting to me because all of this work, especially the way of being, I'm like, that's interesting. Like, okay, like I must not be for them, right? And like truly like that even keel, which like for somebody that has ADHD, we are very, very sensitive. We have rejection syndrome, if you've heard of that. And so that was just like a really powerful moment on Sunday when I was like cleaning up my Facebook groups and just getting rid of some of the digital clutter because it does take up brain power, whether we know it or not. And I was just like, oh, okay, no worries. I'm going to focus on people that really like see my value, want to be around me. I want to be around them. Again, it's a vibe, right? It is a total vibe. All right. So we're looking at our calendar. We're looking at our to-do list. We're looking at the patterns, right? This is not all going to be done in one day. This is like, I've shared examples of happening like in real time. I've been working on this for a long time, like years. But again, when we can see the tug of war happen, we can pull ourselves. I don't want to say pull ourselves back. We can shift. We can choose to shift back, right? Pulling feels like it's not a choice. So I'm going to change my word to shift. Okay. Again, all of this is in real time. Okay. So our way of being, this is going to be harder. Okay. And harder, but still possible. Like it's going to be more challenging because our way of being, let's think of like how many years you've been on this planet. Okay. However long you've been on this planet, that is that many years that we are wanting to reprogram. That's a lot of years, right? And so we want to be gentle with you. We want to work through this together. I want to grab, I do want to get up for this because I taught this at our Disney Mastermind. And I think for this category, it'll be really, really helpful for you. So 1 second. Okay. So I gave everyone this little notebook. Okay. Because our way of being, it's harder because typically we're not saying what we feel. We're not saying what we think out loud. And so that's getting stored in our body. And our subconscious does not know real life from what you tell it, which can be actually really powerful because if you keep telling yourself, I am wealthy, I am healthy, I am confident, or like whatever the belief is, your subconscious doesn't know what's in your bank account or what's on the scale. Whatever you tell your subconscious, which is 95% of our way of being, it's going to believe. Isn't that kind of cool? And also kind of scary. So we're going to choose the kind of cool, not the scary. So I gave everyone at our Disney retreat this cute, it's really small, like it can fit in like a small purse, but it says, believe in yourself. You could probably find something similar, like a small little notebook. Anywhere you want to buy a notebook. I couldn't help myself. It was Disney themed. It said, believe in yourself. Again, there are no accidents. And so I taught them that this is not just any notebook. Look how cute that is. I took a photo of me for the beginning of the notebook. This is not any notebook. This is not a to-do list notebook. This is not like a take notes at the retreat notebook, because sometimes I like give them a notebook to do that. I had them make me a promise. This is your belief notebook. This is your new way of being notebook. Anytime you have a thought, a feeling, a way of being that you're like, yeah, I'm not down for that. Again, what are you willing to tolerate? What are you available for? What are you not available for? You are a human and you are going to do human-like things, right? Which means you're going to have doubt. You're going to have fear. You're going to have frustration. You're going to have all of the emotions. That the contrast is what makes the good emotions feel so good, because you have the contrast, right? And so we're not meant to stay in the feelings that don't feel good, even though that they are there for contrast. And I think that can be like a really challenging thing of like, wait, we're supposed to feel all the feelings. Yes. And the feelings that don't feel good, we're not supposed to stay in, right? And again, that goes back to like being and staying and expanding your comfort zone. So you always feel good. And anytime you don't, we choose again. Gabrielle Bernstein says that all the time. Choose again, right? And so let's take a thought or a feeling or a way of being that you don't love right now about yourself, right? No one has to know, but you can literally grab a notebook or even write one on a Post-it note so you don't have to wait. So you don't write what doesn't serve you in the notebook. You only write the new thought, feeling, okay, in the notebook. You date it, okay? So like, let me give you an example of one of mine, okay? Okay, so I still have a little bit more debt, even though we have like an amazing net worth, we still have a little bit of debt. And we're actually going to focus on that in one of our months in Quantum Club, because I've just learned so much and it's been so helpful of like mindset shift, belief shift, energy shift around debt. And it's something that I see so many women like hide, and it's like a scarlet letter. So it's just perfect that we're going to talk about this as mine. So my new belief in the notebook, okay, I had something come up like shame around debt, and I was like, it's okay, right? Like it's more than okay. And so the new belief that I wrote down was, I am becoming more and more debt-free daily. Okay. The belief that you write down, you must believe. You can get your brain on board, right? So this isn't like living in la la land where you're like, that's so far-fetched, I don't even believe that. Because if we don't believe it when you write it, it's not going to anchor in your nervous system, right? Meaning like it will truly like set in to your nervous system. It's kind of like when you get your nails done and they put your gel nails under the light and they set on your nails. We want that, right? We want that gel nail manicure looking so good. Okay. So you do that, you date it, you put the new belief down, and then you anchor it. And what I mean by an anchor is an aligned action that you're willing to do that day. And that is important. And it's a small, teeny tiny step that you're willing to do that day. Okay. So that day I was willing and able to pay off $1,000 of debt. And I wrote that as my anchor. And then you sign it like a signature, like a contract. Okay. And you keep doing this and you keep filling up your notebook day in and day out. You don't have to like do it every single day, but it's a tool. It's a resource. You start to carry this around, right? It was really, really cute. One day, Emma, where is it at? I want to be able to show it to you if I can. She somehow grabbed it, because I've been trying to hide this from her because she loves princesses and she loves office supplies like her mama, but she grabbed it and she saw that I was writing and she wrote her name and her new belief, right? And these are tools that, again, are not going to just change your life. If you're working with clients, pass this tool along to them. If your significant other, your friends, anyone that's around you, right? But you get to start it first. So that's how we're going to shift the way of being, right? You're human. You're going to have limiting beliefs. You're going to have fear. It's what we do with it. We choose again, right? We start getting that programming working for you, just like brushing your teeth, right? At some point, someone else had to hold the toothbrush for you, put the toothpaste on, show you how to do it. So let that be what this is for you. And eventually you'll just start to do it, right? You'll start to choose again, anchor it, and essentially like energetically sign it, right? But this can be such a powerful visual aid for you. And I think it just like shows growth, right? And writing things down, it's going to immediately anchor it in your nervous system. So there's like that piece that isn't talked about enough. So that's a practical, helpful tool that you can do to deepen your way of being. I do also want you, like, this is intuitively showing up for me too. you get to think about your environment, meaning the people that you're surrounding yourself with on social media, right? Because we spend a lot of time on social media. Who's on your feed? Is that your vibe, right? Even if you don't know them well, you can know if it's your vibe or not. Again, you're choosing. This is all about personal responsibility today, tomorrow, and forever, but especially today, you're choosing to have that person on your feed. You guys, there was this one person that was bullying me, blatantly bullying me, publicly, privately, to other people. And I was doing business with her, meaning like I was spending money with her out of a people-pleasing tendency, and also allowing her to come to my events, allowing her to be on my social media and make snarky comments on my social media. I was allowing all of this to happen. Again, the old pattern was let it happen, right? Keep the peace. Self-harm in the process, right? Because by keeping the peace with anyone and not speaking up and being your best advocate is the form of self-harm, right? Like it's one of the highest forms of self-harm. And it's not as easy to see, and most people don't call it that, but it is, right? And so I got to a point, again, where I was like, full body yuck, I am done. And guess what? That kept the peace with me. I took back my peace, and it felt so good. I can't control her opinion, whether she's around me or not, right? But her getting into my bubble was affecting me even deeper, right? I wish her well. I don't wish her anything but the best. And also, I get to protect my bubble and my energy. And I choose who gets in that energy, whether it's far away or close up, right? And so I do want you to think about social media. I want you to think about containers that you're in. I want you to think about events that you're going to, your family, your significant other, your children. Like, I understand that sometimes it doesn't feel like, well, I can't like not be around my kids or not be around my significant other. However, we can start to put up boundaries, right? We can start to protect your energy. And also by you shifting your way of being, you'll see this beautiful shift in other people's energy. Like as I've worked on myself over the years through osmosis, my husband has like shifted his mindset, his energy, his beliefs, right? He's healed himself, right? And I haven't been that like nagging wife that's like, you should do this, right? And so those are just a few practical things we can do to really step into our highest, most wealthiest self, okay? And the last one is money. This one is heavy for most people. I'm not going to put that on you specifically, but through lots and lots of conversations around people, there's a lot of shame around debt. There's a lot of shame around overspending or underspending or not knowing how to manage your books, or you know, maybe you have like something that you love to spend money on, but then it feels icky. Again, that yuck, that ickiness. And so this is a big one. And Rome wasn't built in a day. But I want you just to like take a step back. One of the quickest things that we can do to like just really assess business finances and personal finances is to sit with, how does everything feel? Are you paying yourself? Are you not paying yourself? Does that feel good? Does it not feel good? Right? If you are paying yourself, do you want to be paying yourself more? Right? Who are you spending money with? Does that feel good? Like I shared earlier, I was spending money with somebody that was bullying me, right? That felt awful. And even though it wasn't a high amount, energetically, it started to put weight on my shoulders, right? And so we can just really start to look at the feelings around money coming in and money going out, and start to just to sit with everything. You don't even have to make any changes yet, because I know that can be big and scary and a lot, okay? And we're all about staying in our comfort zone here, okay? So I just want you to look at everything. Look at the patterns, right? What's serving you, what's not serving you, what doesn't feel good, what does feel good, right? What's kind of in the middle. And we can start to slowly just sit with all of this, and then we can move into action mode, right? And I want you, again, being in your comfort zone, staying in your comfort zone, expanding your comfort zone, is pick the easiest thing first, right? Like maybe you haven't been going to the gym, and that gym membership keeps charging and charging and charging, and it's just weighing on you. Let's make a decision with that. Maybe that feels too hard. You can make a different one, right? But I do want you to look at your business finances and your personal finances. Maybe you're always stressed around tax time. Hey, guess what? Tax time is coming every year, right? And that was me. At one point, I was like, I can't feel like this anymore. I get to prepare. Christmas, although we always like have the money, it doesn't feel intentional, right? And so one thing that I've started to do a couple months ago is intentionally move money that is for Christmas. It's going to feel so different knowing that, like, holy shit, we've got thousands and thousands and thousands of guilt-free dollars that we have slowly been saving that we can spend on gifts, experiences, buy some stocks because we're nerdy and I love it. We can go on a date, and like, I can't wait to like write myself a check because it's in my business. So I'll write myself a check as an owner's draw and then take that. And I want to have the cash because I want to see it and spend it. And like online shopping is fun, but there's just something about like going to the store around the holidays, right? Having a cup of like peppermint mocha or, you know, something like that. And I love going on a day that like is everyone else is working, like normal people. And I can like do Christmas shopping. I can buy decorations. And like, I've been visualizing this whole vision and like having a wad of cash that I like throw down at Target and be like, oh, it's $500. Here's $500 bills, right? Like, and feeling so good about it. Could I still create that whole experience and not intentionally plan for it and it still feel good? Yeah, but it's not going to feel as good as this is going to feel, right? So these are the shifts that we're really wanting to make, right? And really assessing everything. And again, this came from last Christmas feeling like, oh yeah, we had a great Christmas, but we like didn't plan for it. Like we always, like we have an abundant amount of money, but that's not the point, right? It's being intentional with your money. It's being strategic with your money. It's creating good energy around your money. No matter how much money you have or don't have, we can create this wealthy energy more and more every single day. And so I just find myself being obsessed in the best way possible with this and planning and preparing. We're looking at going on a 10-year wedding anniversary. That's not until 2025. I've already contacted the travel agent. I've asked for a quote. I want to be able to like pay on it every single month, which will feel so exciting to be like, oh my gosh, we're a month closer and a month closer. And since it's so far away, it will feel so easy spending the money. And then once the trip is like ready to go on, it's all paid for. Doesn't that feel so different? Right? And so again, there's so much we can do in this last category. So I just want you to first zoom out, look at all the vibes. What are you tolerating? What are you not willing to tolerate? What feels good? What doesn't feel good? What could feel even better? And then we start to take little mini money moves. I guess little and many are the same thing, but mini money moves is what I like to call them. I literally have a teeny tiny Post-it note on my computer that says mini money moves, and I have mine on there, and I'm crossing them off every single day. And since they're mini, I stay in my comfort zone. It feels good, right? So I talked about a whole lot of stuff that I didn't know I was going to talk about. And so this again is where we go deep. Start to look at the patterns. If you just started to be more aware, you're going to start to see your life differently. You're going to start to feel differently of like, oh, I actually feel awful when fill in the blank, right? Or, oh, I feel really, really good and turned on, right? Like turned on isn't just in the bedroom, right? Like you can get turned on by your content. You can get turned on by your offer, the meeting that you have coming up, right? Or an event that you have coming up. Like good energy feels different, right? And you don't have to force it. So I want you to look at these patterns, go through this, start with time because it's a little bit easier. And then you can go from there. And then I want to end with really like hitting home the comfort zone versus being uncomfortable. And pay attention, be mindful. I'm not going to tell you what to say, do, etc. But just be mindful if you find yourself saying, oh, I've got to get uncomfortable. I've got to do it scared. Again, these are things that I used to say, and I just choose not to say them anymore. If I do say them, I correct myself in real time. So being uncomfortable would have already worked by now. I'm going to like press some buttons with that one. It would have already made you a millionaire. It would have already paid off your debt. It would have already helped you lose the weight if that was the solution. Truly, like, we're just going to mic drop at the end. It would have already worked by now, right? And you could argue, well, I'm not doing it enough. Again, that's a yuck energy. That's shame energy, that you're not being uncomfortable enough. You're not getting anxious enough. You're not getting stressed or overwhelmed enough, right? So you can absolutely build a wealthy life getting uncomfortable, but it's going to look like this. Okay. And it's going to feel like this, right? And you may get an adrenaline high. I'm not going to lie. People chase the adrenaline, right? Just like a roller coaster. That like when you're going up the roller coaster and your heart is beating so fast, and then zoom, you go down. It's like, that was the best thing ever. But then a few days go by and that adrenaline wore off, right? Like you didn't die doing the roller coaster ride. You got the adrenaline. And that's typically what we chase by continuing to get uncomfortable, getting out of our comfort zone. But it is not psychologically the way that's going to work with ease, flow, and fun for your brain. Because every time that you get uncomfortable, you do something scared, you force things don't feel the greatest, it sends literally chemical reactions in your whole body, your whole brain, saying we are unsafe, this does not feel good, right? And therefore that all of those chemicals are being released in your body every single time, which is why it takes so much bandwidth, so much energy to like work up to it, right? We're jumping too far, right? And so we can actually get similar, if not better results by staying in our comfort zone. And so right now, maybe your comfort zone feels like it's that small, right? Like you're like, okay, there's no way that I could go on Facebook Live right now. Like I hear so many clients say that. So getting uncomfortable would literally be forcing them. Like I would set up a tripod. I would say, you're gonna go on Facebook Live, whether you like it or not. And they're like, okay, Nellie, okay, right? We're gonna chase the adrenaline, right? Their whole body is gonna get those not good chemicals being released. So it'll be masked as adrenaline. And then they'll be like, okay, that felt good and I didn't die, right? Maybe they get some results. So then that tug of war starts to happen. That tug of war, back and forth, right? Over and over and over and over and over again. Chase more adrenaline, chase more adrenaline, chase more adrenaline, hustle and grind, hustle and grind. That's like where debt can start to happen. That's where you start to lose relationships. You start to gain weight, right? Like I have seen this time and time and time and time again, right? So there's a different way that's been here the whole time, right? And so let's say you want to go on Facebook Live. It's just like an easy example. Well, staying and expanding your comfort zone wouldn't be hopping 10 levels deep where those chemicals that don't serve us get released, right? It would be, okay, I'm going to like draw this as close as I can. We're going to expand our comfort zone. We're going to make it a circle so it matches by what would we talk about, right? That's an easy mini step, right? Many, like M-I-N-I, many, like small. That's an easy small step. What did I talk about, right? Maybe we like write it on the Post-it note and then we stick that Post-it note on our computer. Okay, I just expanded my comfort zone, right? And then maybe we keep thinking, oh, I really do want to go on Facebook Live. I know it'd be good for me. I should get uncomfortable. No, I've told myself I'm not doing that anymore. How can I expand my comfort zone, right? So then we expand your comfort zone by maybe buying the tripod because you're like, I could really use a tripod, right? That would really help me. The tripod comes, we set it up on your desk. The Post-it note is still there, right? And then the next way that we would expand your comfort zone with this example is maybe you wake up one day and you're just feeling so passionate You do your makeup, you're feeling good, you play your favorite song, like the vibes are so good. And you sit down at your desk and maybe like a meeting gets canceled that you weren't expecting. And you're like sitting there, you're looking at the tripod, you're looking at the Post-it note, and you're like, I want to do it. You just know it's a full body yes. It is so centered, so grounded, so excited. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be nervous, right? You may even like fumble to the app where you're like, I don't even know where I go live. And so maybe that would be the next step. You're like, I want to do it, but I got to figure out where I go live, right? And then let's say you figure out where that is. And then again, you're like, okay, it feels good. I'm just going to go for it, right? And then let's say you go for it and you felt so good. Doesn't mean you weren't perfect. Doesn't mean that there was still a little bit of uneasiness there, but it was such an aligned choice. No one was forcing you. It did not feel yuck. So therefore, you still may have some adrenaline because it's still something that we're doing, and we're going a little bit, I almost said we're going out of your comfort zone. We're expanding your comfort zone. So like when we kind of almost think of this as like stretching, sometimes when you stretch, you're like, oh yeah, that feels good. So it's like, we have to get to that point. Maybe like something had to pop for it to feel good, but we're not like forcing you to stretch, right? And so with this, we went live. Oh, we took that deep breath, and then maybe somebody hops in your DMs. I'm not saying that we do it for this, but maybe somebody hopped in your DMs and said, oh my gosh, I just saw your Facebook Live. I'm so proud of you, right? A little bit of outside validation doesn't hurt. We don't seek it. Well, I shouldn't say we don't seek it. We're human. We're going to seek it. We don't bank on it. Okay. But then maybe somebody like said that, and then another person was like, oh my gosh, I've been wanting to like connect with you, right? That is the moment where you start to quantum leap. It took that many rounds of you expanding your comfort zone, but we did it with ease, flow, and fun. But let's say you land, I don't know, let's just like dream big. Maybe somebody was in your DM saying, I've been meaning to connect with you. Can we get on a call? I really want your services, right? That's when you quantum leap, right? And they're like, yeah, I want to be your client. And maybe that was like a $10,000 offer. Wow. Okay. There we go again. We leaped, and our comfort zone may be small again, meaning, oh, this is my first big time client, right? I want to do a good job. I get them onboarded, right? We start to make many steps again, like MIN, many. Okay. But then we do make many. I want to make sure that you can, like, I'm articulating my words. Many steps. Isn't it fun, you guys? I'm going longer than I anticipated, but I just trust that this is what I'm supposed to do. And then we start to expand again. Okay. And so I don't have a long enough paper, but we would keep doing this and keep doing this and keep doing this. And eventually, ta-da, you get to your wealthy life, right? And we're actually creating it in real time. It's not a destination. This is just more of a visual aid, because I think your wealthy life is happening in between these quantum leaps, because your belief is growing and expanding just as much as your comfort zone is growing and expanding. Your trust in yourself is growing and expanding, right? You start to unlock new portals of possibility, right? So I think the wealthy life is created in between. I wish I had a really long piece of paper, because we would just repeat this over and over. So the wealthy life is deepening. It's getting more apparent. It's happening in real time. You can visually see it. And the more we keep rinsing and repeating this, we do this with ease, flow, and fun the whole time. It feels so fucking good. You're seeing the evidence in real time, which means that it then starts to go faster. Have you ever seen somebody and you're like, wow, they look like an overnight success? You probably saw them on Quantum Leap 400, right? It's kind of like a video game, right? But the beautiful part about this is now you know exactly what you get to do. And we get to make these little teeny tiny steps every day that feels good, right? Some days you're going to make a ton of them. Some days you may make one. Like yesterday when Emma had an ear infection, I still did a few, right? And it's what felt good. And that's what I'm most excited for you. So watch this training as many times as you need. I know I was more woo, but I'm always committed to give you practical ways that you can like feel motivated, feel inspired, and also like, okay, Nellie, what do I do next? Come on the next Q&A, whether it's this month or another month. And I'm here in service to you, to support you, to love you through this and help you build your own belief and create a wealthy, wealthy, wealthy life. All right. I love you so much. You're amazing. Share your biggest takeaway in the Facebook group. I would love to hear from you, and feel free to like share the little steps that you're taking along the way. You are not alone. We are here for you and celebrating you every step of the way. Don't let the tug of war win. Choose again, choose again, choose again. All right. I love you.